Ever go online for some simple fitness advice and just end up in a complete rabbit hole of crazy, contradictory claims? Yeah, it happens all the time. Someone on Reddit asked what seems like a super simple question. Can I drink soda after I had creatine? And the internet, of course, delivered some, well, let's just say some truly explosive answers. So let's dive into the absolute chaos.
Right out of the gate, you've got this gem from a user named Mr. String Cheese 16. He warns, do not do this. The acidic carbonated water in the soda will react with the creatine, you'll spontaneously combust and fucking die right there in your kitchen. Wow, okay.
And then, almost immediately after that warning of certain death, you get this profound piece of wisdom. Just drink the soda, bro, you're fine. You gotta love the duality of the internet, right?
So which one is it? Are you gonna spontaneously combust, or are you just fine? This massive gap between absolute panic and total chill is exactly what we're going to unravel.
We're going to get to the bottom of two big questions here. First, what really happens when you mix creatine with a fizzy drink? And second, stepping back from the soda can, what does the actual science say about one of the most popular, most researched supplements on the entire planet?
So let's get right to it. It's time for a good old-fashioned showdown. Myth versus scientific fact. We're going to take the internet's biggest claims and put them right up against what actual, peer-reviewed research has to say.
Okay, let's start with the big one, the supposed stomach explosion. The claim is that the acid in the soda is going to set off some kind of dangerous reaction. The reality? So much less dramatic. Now, there is a tiny, tiny kernel of truth here. Creatine is a little unstable in acidic liquids. It can slowly start to convert into its waste product, which is called creatinine. But, and this is the key part, the reaction is totally harmless. No explosion, no combustion. The absolute worst-case scenario is you might get some extra fizz.
You know, one Redditor's story actually paints the perfect picture of what's really going on. They said, I dry scooped my creatine, then took a sip of Coke. It started foaming up, I accidentally spit some out back into the can, and it fizzed up and went everywhere. See, that's not a dangerous chemical reaction, it's just a messy one. Think of it like a very, very weak version of dropping Mentos into a Coke bottle.
So when you break it all down, the science is simple. The acid in the soda causes a tiny bit of the creatine to change into creatinine. When that happens, it releases a little carbon dioxide gas. That's the fizz. That's it. It's not harmful, it doesn't happen all at once, and it's not going to hurt you. It might, however, redecorate your countertops if you're not careful. Now, let's tackle that other huge myth you hear everywhere, that creatine is bad for your kidneys. This is probably one of the most stubborn claims out there, and it has been completely debunked over and over again. We're talking decades of research, looking at both short-term and long-term use in healthy people, and the result is always the same. Creatine does not harm kidney function, period.
And what about dehydration and cramping? You hear that one a lot too. But here again, the science actually points in the complete opposite direction. Creatine works by pulling water into your muscle cells, so it literally increases the total amount of water in your body. Far from causing dehydration, studies show it might actually help athletes superhydrate, which makes them better at handling exercise in the heat and could even reduce the risk of cramps.
Okay, so we've established creatine won't make you explode, and the biggest safety worries are basically myths. But honestly, that's just scratching the surface. The really fascinating research these days is showing that the benefits of creatine go way, way beyond just building muscle. Yeah, it's not just about raw power. For instance, studies show it helps your muscles store more glycogen. That's basically high-octane fuel for your workouts. It can also cut down on muscle damage and inflammation, which means you recover faster. There's even evidence it might lower your risk of injuries. And, get this, it seems to have a protective effect on your brain, potentially reducing the severity of things like concussions.
But for all this incredible research, there is a massive, glaring gap. A major review of all the studies found this number, 9%. That's the tiny, tiny fraction of creatine studies that have been conducted only on women.
Now, even with that research gap, the data we do have is incredibly positive. For women, creatine has been shown to be totally safe and really effective for building muscle and strength. And here's something really interesting. Some research suggests it might even help with symptoms of depression, especially since women naturally tend to have lower creatine levels in the brain. The consensus so far is clear. It's safe for women with no increased risk of side effects. And the benefits aren't just for young people. For adults over 50, creatine combined with resistance training is an absolute powerhouse. Study after study shows it boosts strength, helps build and hang on to precious muscle mass, and can even help reduce body fat more than just training alone. So, with the myths officially busted and all these amazing benefits laid out, you might be thinking, okay, I'm sold. How do I actually use this stuff? Let's jump into a quick and easy user guide.
First things first, what kind should you buy? Look, you're going to see all kinds of fancy, expensive versions with wild claims. Just ignore them. The science on this is crystal clear. Simple creatine monohydrate is the king. It is the most studied, it's proven to be the most effective, and it's almost always the cheapest. It's a no-brainer.
All right, so how do you start? You'll often hear about a loading phase. This is totally optional, but it's a way to fill up your muscles with creatine really fast. The protocol is simple. You take about 20 grams a day, but split it up into 4 smaller 5-gram doses. And you do that for about 5 to 7 days. It just gets you there faster. You'll reach the same point without it, it'll just take a few weeks.
Now, whether you do that loading phase or not, you're going to end up right here, in the maintenance phase. And this is super simple. Just 3 to 5 grams a day is all you need to keep your muscles topped up. And here's a little pro tip, taking it after your workout with some carbs and protein can actually help your muscles soak it up even better.
And this chart just puts it all into perspective. You'll see things like creatine HCl marketed as being superior, but there's almost no human research on it. Then you have buffered creatine, where studies show it's no better than the original. At the end of the day, it all comes back to the same simple takeaway. Just stick with the proven winner, monohydrate.
All right, we've gone all the way from explosive Reddit comments to peer-reviewed science and practical, everyday tips. It's time to bring it all home and lay down the final verdict.
So, back to our original question. Will you explode if you mix creatine and soda? The answer is a huge definitive no. The real takeaway is this. Creatine monohydrate is one of the safest, most effective, and most studied supplements you can buy. It's not going to make you explode, but it can absolutely help boost your performance, speed up your recovery, and even support your brain health.
And that really leaves us with one last, bigger thought. This whole story about creatine and soda, it isn't just about a supplement, is it? It's about information itself. In a world where one simple question can give you answers ranging from sound advice to spontaneous combustion, the real challenge, the real workout, is figuring out how to separate the actual science from all of the static.